Hey there, welcome in. It's Heather with Heather's Healing, and I'm here to do a reading on what I feel was a timeline shift back on March 28th, 2026. And these were the cards that I pulled on that day. And then I just took a picture of them and just bookmarked that to come back to it later because I didn't feel well on that day at all. And I just have to be in the right kind of mood to do these types of readings because sometimes they can be kind of heavy. So I want to look at the cards that I pulled on March 28th, which, like I said, that felt like a timeline shift. The last time I felt a timeline shift like this, shoot, and I was going to look at the year, it was the same year that the windmill at the Moulin Rouge broke. It was that year, whatever year that happened. I just remembered that that happened. And that felt like a big timeline shift then. March 28th felt the same way. That shift may have happened maybe more on the 27th, but I felt it on the 28th. And so anyway, these are the cards that I pulled, and I just kind of wanted to take a look at them with you. This is a reading I normally would do for myself, but I thought I would record it, and if I'm brave enough, I'll post the reading. And if you're watching this, obviously I posted it. So welcome in and thanks for being here. So these were the cards that I pulled, and it definitely was a confirmation that a timeline shift had happened. The Four of Wands to me really represented that shift in timelines, and then the World, a successful completion of that former timeline. So let's take a look at these, and then I want to look at the other cards that I pulled that represent the energy that is coming in. So Queen of Cups, I feel like she's representing all of us that are on this journey. So a big call to go within, to nurture your inner world, to clarify yourself as much as possible. So when I say clarify yourself, really do your best to tune in to your wisdom, tune into your inner guidance. The Queen of Cups is a very nurturing energy. She's a very nurturing archetype. She's a great healer, very focused on heart healing. It's a water sign, so think anything that goes along with water. You know, sun setting, letting go, tuning into your emotions, your intuition, your divine wisdom, connecting with your guides and guardians, and listening to that inner wisdom. So I really feel like moving forward, the best guidance for us is to listen to yourself, listen to the prompts that you're being given in your day-to-day life. I thought that was really interesting. There's also a very, I don't want to say lonely, but I can't think of another word. It's one of those journeys that you have to go on yourself. No one else can do this work for you. No one else can, heal you. No one else can do this. You have to do it. So I feel like this timeline that we are currently on, and I'm recording this video. I've done this video so many times, you guys. I'm recording this video on April 11th, 2026. So it's really important to trust yourself, trust your guides, having a spiritual practice. And I know I bring this up all the time, even in personal readings. Having a spiritual practice is going to be very important. It's really going back to your roots, connecting to yourself and what is important to you, and also really listening to your heart. So that Queen of Cups. And then I pulled the Four of Wands. Beautiful card, very optimistic. The first thing I heard when I pulled this card was finish line. I do feel like we definitely closed a door on a pretty massive timeline for all of us that are, all of you that are here watching this video. I feel like we are on the same timeline. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't even be seeing this video. And I do feel like this is good advice anytime you are seeing this video, now or in the future. But I felt like, we crossed the finish line. We were successful in what we were trying to achieve. Um, and of course, things probably didn't turn out the way you were hoping they would turn out, but this is a successful completion. There's also a big focus here with this Four of Wands on, again, going back to roots, strengthening your home environment, like literally your home, getting your home ready, getting your home the way you like it to be, making it a comfortable place to be. But this is also connecting with your family, whoever that is and however that looks for you. Family is different for everybody, but this is pulling your people close to you, really, investing in your relationships, whether they're friends or family. That feels really, really important here with this Four of Wands. Yeah, it's really focused on family, your roots, your lineage, getting to know who you are, getting to know why you are here. What is your soul's purpose? I feel like these are all big, big chapters in this next book, I guess, if you want to look at it like that. There's also a lot of strength that I feel with this card, this Four of Wands. I feel like I feel like the powers, the darker energies that are here on this planet, I feel like they're going to have to try harder to trick us. I feel like they're going to have to try harder to foul us up. I do feel like they're constantly setting traps for us to fall into. But it seems to me like we're able to recognize those traps before we get too deep in them or before we even fall into those traps. So I do expect the dark energies here to get to be a little more sneaky in how they deliver their darkness. And what I'm hearing, and they've always done this to some degree, I don't fully understand how they're changing it up, but what I'm hearing is they're going to use, they're going to trip us up with light. They're going, I mean, you always hear people talking about false light this, false light that, false light that. They're not going to appear as darkness. They're going to appear as friends. They're going to appear as people that you can trust. They're going to appear as structures and systems that you have always relied on and trusted. But they're doing it in a different way. I'm not quite sure what that is. That's just what I'm hearing. It's like manipulation of light, which they've always done to some degree. That's why I'm not quite sure why this is different, but maybe it'll make more sense as we go forward. The other thing that I felt with this card, so back in 2019, before, COVID and all of that, I could definitely feel that something was coming, and I had a lot of visions on, and I was seeing that the world was shut down, but I had no idea what any of that was. I'm feeling those, I started feeling those similar energies last year. And when I saw this Four of Wands, I was like, okay, what is it? What is it that they're cooking up? Because the dark energies that basically rule this planet have taken over this planet. They're always cooking up something, right? So I felt like this was linked into power. And this could be in all kinds of ways. But it's manipulation of power, but I also feel like that power could be like literal power, electricity, gas, the things that we rely on to run our world. They could be manipulating that, manipulating authority figures in your life, that type of power as well. And I feel like that's why this Queen of Cups came in with that guidance of really trusting yourself, really getting to know yourself, getting to know your inner waters, as Spirit likes to say, so that you're not duped, you're not tricked. And then we have the World card, and this card to me was again just another nod to yes, a timeline shift has happened. It was a successful completion. We're moving on to the next book, the next big shift. Anytime you see the World card, it is a huge shift. It is a ending and a new beginning, and it's completely different energy. So I found that really interesting. And before I get to these cards here, I did want to pull additional cards looking into these energies and in regards to this new timeline. And just like how COVID changed the world, and there are certain times throughout our lives and throughout history where there's a before and an after. You know, 9/11 was one. There was a before 9/11 and after 9/11. You know, before COVID, after COVID. This card feels like a similar energy. You know, before whatever this timeline is, and then an after. I really feel that with this card here. And I'd also, the reason why I like to look at these energies is it's a nice way of seeing what could be coming up, so that, well, one, I'm aware of it, you're aware of it, and we can put our energy towards something that would be better for us or more beneficial for us. So I don't do this reading to scare anybody. That's also why I've done this reading so many different times now and I haven't posted it. I just think it's just good to see what's going on, because we're very powerful and we can shift the energies. And starting with yourself is always the first place to start, and then within your immediate family and community. And something that I do believe in Spirit brings up quite often is, as we lift ourselves up, we can then lift each other up. As we lift each other up, we can then lift up the world. And I do believe that. So it starts with each one of us. All right, so what else do we need to know about this Queen of Cups, looking at this new timeline that we are on? And then I'll move on to the other cards. And thanks so much for being here, you guys. So we've got the Knight of Swords. This is information coming. This is information, energy coming towards us. This feels like the lies or the false light energy that these darker energies are bringing in. But what is so interesting about this, to me anyway, is that we see through it. We see the truth of what is truly going on. And that does help us that helps us make better decisions, especially if we are really being discerning and we are making decisions not from an ego perspective, but from an authentic place. This does really feel tied into gasoline, and that's making more sense now as this year has gone on, because Spirit had been talking about, you know, the next, if you want to say shutdown, is not going to be like a shutdown. It's going to be a shutdown because there's lack of resources. And I feel like the big one right now would potentially be, you know, diesel or gas, or just plain not being able to afford it because it's so expensive. But I feel like that's coming up with this Queen of Cups and with this Knight of Swords. I think what also is going to be really challenging in the upcoming months, year, however long this timeline goes, is the energy is moving so fast and things are shifting and changing so quickly that we're having to make decisions very quickly. And I feel like that could become very fatiguing to us. So strengthening your body, doing whatever you can to be as healthy as possible is going to be very helpful, because the healthier our body is, the easier it is to discern information. So this Knight of Swords is also a nod to a lifestyle change. So becoming as healthy as you possibly can, not just within your body, but your environment. This also has me thinking of removing yourself from any kind of toxic environments, whether that is within your home, within your family dynamics, within a work situation. If you are in a toxic environment, what can you do to get yourself out of that? How can you shift that energy? That's going to be really highlighted and really important. There's also something here with there's also something here with food. Of course, so much in our world is toxic and poison and all of that, but there's something here with food. So I don't know if this is food being manipulated, or if this goes along with lack of resources, possibly because of energy stuff going on. I'm not quite sure, but there's something here with food. Oh, I can always come back to this. If there's anything that stands out to you that you would like clarified on, please let me know in the comments, and I'm happy to do another reading. But let's move on to the Four of Wands. What else do we need to know about this Four of Wands here? And of course, oftentimes the Knight, well, the swords do represent military. So this could be, talking about war. That could be taking away resources, using up resources, causing lack for us. I mean, that's a potential too. All right, Four of Wands. What do we need to know about this Four of Wands? We've got the Seven of Wands here. So what I feel about this is it's just reaffirming one of the things I mentioned: fortifying your home, having a place where you can, call home, putting your roots down, having a place that you feel safe being in, having a place that is, that meets your needs. I also want to say, if you are getting a prompting to move or change something in your life and you've been ignoring it, don't ignore it. Now is the time to take action. And I do feel like now is the time to take action, especially anything to do with your home. Anything to do with your home, fixing up your home, fortifying your home, having a place to go that is safe. And I feel like a lot of that just comes down to, it's hard for us to rest, it's hard for us to heal, it's hard for us to make good choices if we don't feel safe and if we don't feel like we have a safe place to be. This Seven of Wands also links into Mars in Leo. So taking action around, again, your home. but also your physical body as well, and any way that you're being prompted. If you just feel an urge to do something, or if you've had a really good idea and it just keeps coming up and you keep putting it off, really, tap into that and follow through on that. I feel like that's really important. Your creativity is going to be really highlighted here as well with that Leo energy. So taking action on your creativity, your dreams, your passions, that sort of thing. Interesting. Okay. And the world. What else do we need to know about the world? And it does kind of feel like in some ways our world is getting a little smaller in some ways. And I don't necessarily know what that is, other than it could be just people are more focused on their immediate communities and fixing things, making improvements in not only your home, but the area in which you live in. I feel like there's more of a focus here on that rather than what else is going on in the world. And I feel like it's good to be aware of what's going on. I fully do believe that, but sometimes having too much information causes paralysis and keeps us from acting on our inspiration. So there's definitely a need here to cut back on social media, cut back on doom scrolling, all of this information that's coming in really quickly that could be numbing your senses, closing down your third eye, your crown chakra, your soul star chakra. There's a desensitizing here with this card that I'm feeling. And I do feel like that's from getting too much information. We all came here to do specific things, and not all of us came here to participate in world affairs. So, yeah, that's something to look at. Yeah, definitely something here with that desensitizing. I also kind of wonder if that's part of, the darkness. It's not really a trick, but part of one of the main themes of their plan going forward is desensitizing, and they've been doing that for a long time, but it's definitely highlighted here. I also feel like that comes from the toxicity within our environments, within our food, all of that. And when they're talking about a healthy body, they're showing me the excess fat on some of us, how that is holding on to toxicity as well. How that excess fat, it's not necessarily, yes, there can be toxins from our environment within those fat cells, but it's also holding on to an older frequency, an older energy that no longer serves us. That's interesting. Yes, we do need a healthy amount of fat on our body, so please don't take that as if you are a healthy weight, great. It's just an interesting thing that they brought up, so I'm sharing it with you because Spirit has brought that up. And I do feel like that's tied into, letting go, because we are moving into this new timeline. Any way that we can release toxicity and be clear in our mind, body, and heart, the better off we'll be. All right, what else do we need to know about this world card? We've got the Queen of Wands. We've got two queens here. I really like this energy. So as we heal our world, we heal ourselves, we come into greater alignment with our soul, with our divine purpose, the greater and more powerful we are able to stand and be in this timeline. The Queen of Wands, I mean, each king and queen holds their own unique energy, but the Queen of Wands she's a force to be reckoned with. I mean, she is not afraid of anything. She gets out there and she's great at networking. She's great at working a room. She's great with people, but she's really great at showing up and being in service to others. So I think it's safe to say there's going to be and I love this, a great shift in people being of service to others, lifting other people up, not being afraid to go against the grain, not being afraid to shine your light. Queen of Wands, this is a fire energy. So taking action on what you know to be true, following through on those divine inspirations, and doing whatever you can do to make your world, your community a better place to be. So this is working and being and living in an empowered place. So this isn't, falling victim to whatever is going on in the world. This is standing in your power, being very strong and being very powerful. So I really like that. So the next thing I just pulled 3 cards, just asking, what else do we need to know about this timeline? Like, what is going on here? So I pulled the card, affair, cheating. I mean, this just definitely, to me, speaks to deceptive energy, sneaking around, things not being as they appear to be. There's a lot of, this is seeing through the lies. And I feel like going forward, seeing the truth in a matter is going to be very easy to do. But this is a deceptive energy. In the middle, and I love that this card was in the middle. Let me put, I liked the way these cards laid out here. Whoops. And how we have this really bright golden color underneath this 4 of Wands, a very similar energy here, and it's right in the center. And I do feel like that's speaking to the power that is within us, and not to live your life in fear, to be bold, to be brave, to stand in your power, to stand in your truth, and be seen outside, out in the open. You don't need to hide who you are and how you are being guided to show up in the world. The other card I pulled here, it says fired. And the image that I got with this card was the 5 of Pentacles. So that's feeling left out, feeling like you're in lack, there's not enough. There's a definite victim energy here. But I also feel like this could be speaking about you could be getting fired. And I do feel like this would, if this happens, it is linked into energy, power, electricity, maybe even just the cost of everything. I felt that within this card. Not saying that that's going to happen, but that's just one of the things that I felt. But the underlying energy of this is victimhood. And I feel like that's what we're being invited to step out of. And I feel like if you are standing in your power, you're listening to the prompts and wisdom, and you're following through on that, you're not going to be left out in the cold, and you're not going to be confused. And I also feel like that's why it's so important to deepen your spiritual practice. And the reason why I say deepen your spiritual practice is that's your relationship with God, your relationship with your guides. Nobody can take that away from you. And the more, like with any relationship, the more you strengthen that relationship, the stronger that bond is, and the easier it's going to be for you to hear that wisdom and know your next move, so that you're not feeling like a victim, and you're not feeling like the world is just screwing you over. So I did want to pull some cards on, pull some tarot and see what wisdom we can get from each of these cards. But there's definitely something here about following through on your passions, following through on creative endeavors. For some of you, you could be maybe creating a new business or creating a new way of, I don't know, using energy. God works through each one of us, and we each hold a different facet of God. So if we are aligned with Source, we can truly transform the world, and each of us God will work through each of us in a different way. And that's why I feel like it's really important to follow through on that guidance that you're getting. All right, so affair and cheating. What do we need to know about this energy here? I'm hearing escapism. It's great. We all need to escape every now and then, but if you're living if you're living in a place where you're just constantly escaping, this could even be through doom scrolling. That's not good. You're numbing out, and you're not going to be able to get the information that you need. What do we need to know? Got another knight here. Knight of Cups. What I'm hearing is discern what's being served to you. Discern what's being offered to you. This to me feels like, someone trying to keep you off your path. Not that we're not necessarily ever off our path, but this is a distraction. This is you putting your emotion and your energy into something that isn't going to be giving back. It's just draining. It's just a constant drain on your energy. And if you're aware of this, then you'll be able to receive energy, information, ideas that will really serve you. What else do we need to know about this Knight of Cups? I also feel like going back to that lifestyle change with the Knight of Swords. I also feel like this is God offering you a new way forward. But you've got to be able to see it. You've got to be able to feel into that and hear and feel, or however it is that you discern spirit. You've got to be able to have that communication with Source. This does feel like a new way forward. Interesting. Okay. Outside, out in the open, in the light, the power of the sun, being healed by the sun. I read an article, this was several months back, but it was talking about just being outside in the sunlight, whether you can see the sun or not, even if it's a cloudy day, being outside in sunlight for 15 minutes a day boosts your immune system like in such a huge way. Anyway, that might be helpful. I found it fascinating how easy it is for our bodies to heal when we get out of the way and just allow it to be. So if any of you are, struggling with a health issue, I feel like this is spirit letting you know that your body can heal, and you are healing every day. You're getting better, healthier, stronger every day. And boost your immunity by going outside for at least 15 minutes. All right, what else do we need to know about this card outside, out in the open? Got the Ace of Pentacles, one of my favorite cards. I feel like this is tied into what I was saying with that Knight of Cups. It's a new way forward. Don't allow fear to keep you small or to keep you from getting excited about your future. Invest in yourself, invest in your health, your home, your education, whatever it is that you are being guided towards. This is a new offer coming in. This is, I also feel like this is a really nice reminder that you will have what you need. You'll have the resources that you need. You'll have the money that you need. So don't step into that fear of, oh my gosh, I've lost my job. I have no money. What am I going to do? Know that you will be provided for. But stay in your divine wisdom. I feel like that's going to be that's the challenge of this timeline is standing in your power. I really do like this Ace of Pentacles though. It feels like crossing over a new threshold. While anything is possible and anything can happen, that's good things too. So it's not just, all of the negative things that we see in the world. I also feel like that's why it's important to make your world a little smaller. Be very discerning about the information that you receive. I always tell God, if there's something I need to know, make me aware of it. I don't watch the news. I've not watched the news, I don't know, maybe 10 years or so. So there's a lot that I don't know, and that's fine. But if anything I need to know, it is brought to my attention, whether it's through someone else or I see something as I'm scrolling, trust that you will have what you need. What's going on with this fired card? What do we need to know? I do feel like this is an energy of victimhood here. We've got the Four of Swords with this card. And I'm hearing blessing in disguise. And I'm hearing I'm moving you around. So that to me, that's God saying I'm putting you where I'm moving you out of situations that no longer serve you, and I'm putting you where you can be of service, but where people can be in service to you as well. And I do find that happens when there are timeline shifts. There does tend to be major changes that happen in your life that put you on a new course. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. I wouldn't be surprised if, some of you are making your money in a different way going forward. But this Four of Swords is, it's a card of recovery. I do feel like there's an energy of slowing down, and I said it at the beginning too, going back to your roots, going back to the basics, simplifying things, simplifying your life. So maybe you just don't need to work as much as what you did before, but there is a need to rest, recover, and I'm hearing again, discern. This could also be, meditation, to slowing down, to hear that guidance, to hear the wisdom that's coming through. What I really love about this Four of Swords is this is an expanding energy. You're taking a break, you're stepping back. So maybe you're stepping out of a job or you're stepping out of a situation that took a lot of your time, and you're recovering, you're contemplating, you're slowing down, not because you're contracting in or getting smaller. It's because your world's about to get bigger. The Four of Swords, it's the energy of Jupiter, of expansion, but it's expansion after rest. It's expansion after a break, after healing, after greater alignment. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is tied into also relationships. Some of you could be ending relationships, deepening your relationships. It's a definite shift in relationships. Friendships as well. It's pulling back. It's pulling back your energy from anything that doesn't serve. And I feel like anything that is not serving you is going to be taken from you. To allow yourself to align with yourself, to heal, so that you can expand. The other thing that they keep showing me, and I'm not saying we're having a pandemic, because I don't believe that we are, but it was that type of energy where all of a sudden all of the noise, all of the distractions that you used to have were no longer available, especially if you like to travel or shop or do all of these things, and you're now stuck with your family or a friend or wherever you were stuck, and you really were forced to look at how things were either really working for you or how they were not working for you at all. And a lot of people made huge shifts in their lives. They new careers, they moved, lots of things happened, like things, big shifts happened. I feel that with this card. We also saw the true color of people. We saw their true intention. I certainly know I did. People that I thought were friends, people that I thought I could trust, I learned, wow, there's a whole nother side to them that I was not aware of. I'm feeling that with this card. But then on the flip side, I also, my world opened up to a lot of new people that were new friends that are absolutely fantastic and greater aligned with my energy. And I'm aligned with their energy. So it was a definite upgrade. So I do feel like this is an upgrade. Not that it, won't be challenging. The Four of Swords, I do feel this linked into hidden enemies. Not that we have to view people as enemies, but I feel like you're going to see the true colors of people again. It almost feels like a cleansing of our world, our environment. When I say of our world, I mean your inner world. Yes, there's a big world, there's billions of people, but you have your family, your world, your existence. It feels like a cleansing of that again. And I feel like the pandemic really did that. I know it did for me. And when people show you their true colors, as disappointing as that can be sometimes, it's a blessing, because now you know. And I always feel like now I know who to avoid. Like if push comes to shove, if the world really went to shit, I know who I could trust, and I know who would stab me in the back in an instant. I feel that with this energy here. So very interesting. It will be interesting to see how things play out going forward. I can't say enough. Really pay attention to the wisdom that is coming to you, the inspiration, the promptings. And it could feel like an urge to do something, or a repeating thought, or an idea like I need to move, or I need to fix this, or maybe it's for instance, maybe you're trying to look for a new job and you're not finding a new job. Maybe that's because God wants you where you are right now. I've been looking for a new job for a while, and a friend recently said that to me. She's like, I guess you're where God wants you to be. Maybe it's not time for you to make that shift. Whatever it is, really listen to that. I know prior to COVID, I got so many promptings, and I'm glad I followed through on those because they really did serve me. I was looking to buy a car, and I was prompted to not buy a car and wait until March of 2020. There was so much information that I got that really served me that made no sense at the time. But later on down the road, it made a ton of sense. All right, so I want to just go ahead and pull pull 3 cards, just final advice and guidance, just to kind of tie up this reading here. The other thing that I'm feeling too is that guidance that we get, it's going to help you from stepping into traps, falling into traps. So it's really important to stay aligned. And that's where that spiritual practice comes in handy. Okay. So final 3 cards, final message, advice and guidance. Wrapping up this reading. Thanks so much for being here. And if there's anything that you'd like me to clarify on or go deeper into, just let me know in the comments, and I'd be happy to do another reading. And thanks for being here. We got the Queen of Cups coming back up again. Wow, got the Page of Cups. We got the Ten of Swords. Swords, yeah, swords and cups. That's the main focus of this reading here. So water energy, staying in your heart, your intuition and information, discernment, guidance, following that. So Queen of Cups, the Page of Cups, staying aligned to your values, your heart, what is true for you, what is your soul's mission? What did you come here to experience? What did you come here to be in service to others? Like what are you bringing to the table? And I do feel like when it is our divine purpose, we tend to shy away from it. That might help give you a clue. We tend to shy away from it because we're afraid of what others might think. It also might be something that we really don't want to do because for whatever reason. For example, I have been, Spirit's been asking me to do a prayer circle online for free once a month. I have been given this prompt for about a year, and I've not taken action on it because I really don't want to. I don't know why I have this resistance to it, but I do. So where are you being guided to take action that you're feeling resistance? It's going to set you free. It's going to it'll help make sense of things. It'll help bring greater peace. This is the Ten of Swords. It's the end of a struggle. It's moving into your purpose. Really interesting here. Remember, we're all divinely guided. We came here for a reason, and it wasn't to play small, to be miserable, and to live in fear. You are a powerful being, so listen to that guidance. All right, you guys. Have a great day. I will talk to you soon.